Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. We've made it. We've been pushing out all of our takes and content since May, but we are finally at the promised land. The NFL season starts tomorrow. 1 day left. Hype. Definitely hype. Unfortunately, we are a bit short-handed for this podcast. It is just me and Matt running a duo here. Q's internet is currently being fixed because a squirrel ate the line. So Q's been having some rough internet issues over the past few weeks, as we saw during the trivia episode as well. T-Gods is feeling a bit under the weather. So 2-man in it, week 1 preview, still getting you all of the best content, our week 1 ranks, and we'll be going through every single matchup, giving you our picks as well. We will see if we can get T-Gods and Q's picks next week just to see what they picked as well, just so we can keep track. But as I said, it's week 1. We're going to kick it back to how we did things last year. And of course, let's just get right into it, Matt.
Let's do it.
So yes, Bills at the Rams tomorrow, Thursday night football. You're obviously planning on starting Josh Allen in this game, but are you a bit nervous about this stacked defense at all?
I mean, a little bit, but the Bills could easily counter their stacked defense because they have an absolutely stacked offense. But I do have Josh Allen at 4. I think there's only a handful of guys that have a better matchup than him with like similar talent. But I mean, if you have Josh Allen, you're starting him week in, week out. Not too many defense are going to scare you. But it does suck that week 1 he is going up against one of the tougher in the league. But he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. You got to start Josh Allen. You got to start your studs. There's no doubt about it. Q in the chat. Sorry to hear about your internet, like we mentioned already. Enjoy the show without you. But yeah, Josh Allen, I have him at 3. We'll talk about some other guys we had around him as we continue through here. But continuing with the Bills offense, Stefon Diggs, obviously a lock, even in a tough matchup against Ramsey. But how confident are you in Gabriel Davis or Dawson Knox for week 1?
Gabe Davis, I have is like a high end flex. I have him right at wide receiver 27. This is going to be a good matchup for him to like really show what he can do. And this will prove to a lot of people whether he was worth the earlier round pick or if he's just another boomer bust type of flex. So I'd like to see what he can do against his defense. Dawson Knox, I actually do like a lot this week. I think he's going to get a good amount of work. I have him at 10, but he is a sneaky start this week, and I think he ends up in the end zone, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like Dawson Knox this week. I'm a little higher at 9. Gabe Davis, maybe a little bit more risky for me. I have him at 32. I'm hoping that I'm proven wrong and that he is the legit wide receiver 2 people have been hyping him up to be, but I'm more comfortable with him as a flex for week 1 for
Most
now.
Definitely.
For the Bills, running backs have really never been something that's always been good for them. Singletary or James Cook crack your top 30 this week, or are you just staying away?
Week 1, crowded backfield. I am avoiding both of these guys. Singy, I have a 35. James Cook, I have a 42. So I'd like at least a couple weeks just to see where like who gets the majority of the workload and like what type of game situations until I jump the gun and try and start either of those guys.
Yeah, I got them in the same boat, 34, 46. I'm avoiding them as well. Avoid them if you can. Let's move on to the Rams. It seems that there are no injury concerns for any starters. Are you confident in Stafford this week as a top 12 quarterback?
For surely. He was top 5 quarterback last year. Let me see where I have him this week.
I actually have him outside my top 12. I put him at 14.
Wow.
I'm just a little nervous. Just a wee bit nervous. I put a couple guys maybe with more favorable matchups ahead of him.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a tough matchup. It's Thursday night. It's the first game of the season, and
Hopefully his elbow's feeling good
the elbow
because
should be feeling good, but still something I'm just keeping
yeah,
in the back of my mind.
just like the Bills against the Rams defense, I feel like this Rams offense can match up well against this Bills defense. So
Yeah, I think it's going to match up well pretty much against anything. But just to be safe, I have him at 14, a little bit more of a safer low end QB1 play for me.
whack.
Sorry. We'll get into some guys I have over him later also. But how did you split ranking the running backs in this team with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson Jr.?
Take a look. Cam Akers, 23. What's up, Papa Doc? All right, I'll talk to you later. Darrell Henderson. Where the hell do I have Darrell Henderson?
Sleep on my
36.
man. Nope.
36.
I'm a 36 also. So you're not that
So I think that the majority of the work this week is going to go to Cam Akers. They're going to want to get him going. But, I mean, he's going to be the one I trust the most. Is he going to be the one I trust the most season long? That is to be determined. Like you said, this is a tough matchup against this Bills defense. So, I mean, I would just temper expectations on him.
Yeah. I'm giving the slight edge to Akers as well, but I have him a lot lower, 29, compared to Henderson at 36. I think it's going to be closer to 50-50, but I'm still in wait and see mode with this. I really want to see which running back gets the edge. I think it's going to be Akers, but still a little bit nervous, still a little bit hesitant with all those preseason reports. Can't buy into him too much, but there's a lot of chatter out there, a lot of chatter.
It's noise. It's all noise.
All right. Last thing for this matchup, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson. You know you're starting both most likely. How far apart did you rank those guys?
Cooper Kupp, number 2. He'll be in that spot a whole lot this year, I feel like. And A-Rob, I have at 23. So Cooper Kupp, high-end wide receiver 1. Allen Robinson, low-end wide receiver 2. I do like both of these guys in this matchup, though, even though it's against a tough defense.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be a very high-scoring game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be high scoring as well. Usually Thursdays you're like a little bit more nervous because they're coming off a short week, but it's week 1, so no short week.
They had all off season.
Held all off season. I have Kupp at 3, A-Rob at 24, so one lower for each. But I like both, obviously, in the same spots. You got them. All right, let's pick this one. Bills at the Rams. Who do you got?
Go in the Rams. Defending Super Bowl champs at home. Can't bet against them.
I'm taking the Bills.
Of course you are.
I think they might be the best team in football this year. So
it's possible. I wouldn't doubt it.
That roster stacked from top to bottom. I think they could upset them, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a very good game.
Yes, it will.
All right,
let's game to start off the season.
Yeah, definitely. Great game to start off. Let's get into some Sunday matchups. Steelers at the Bengals. Najee Harris, we know he's locked in as an RB1 for his second season. How high did you rank him this week?
I got him right at 7.
Okay.
I do like the matchup.
I have him at 8. I also think it's a pretty good matchup. Bengals defense was a little bit stingy, I think, last year on the ground, but not anything where you're going to steer away from Najee here. He's going to be just fine.
And he'll get the work in the passing game as well. So,
yeah,
that's just a plus for him.
Exactly. For the Steelers as well, we know we are leaving Mitch Trubisky on waivers in one quarterback leagues, not even on the bench. Just keep him off your team. You don't need him right now unless he goes bonkers in this game. But how confident are we in his wide receivers? Obviously, Deontay Johnson, we should be pretty confident, but Claypool, Pickens, and even Freiermuth as well. Are you really confident in all these guys for week 1?
The only ones I'm truly confident in is going to be Deontay. I have at 16, and Freiermuth, who I have at 11. But aside from them, like the supporting cast with Pickens and Claypool, it's another situation where it's week 1. I just want to see how those targets get distributed. I'm sure it's going to be a roller coaster week in, week out all year. But yeah, I can't trust a rookie or Claypool who didn't really do a thing last year, week 1 with Mitch Trubisky under center.
Yeah, both of them, leave them on the bench. Deontay Johnson, rock solid wide receiver 2. Freiermuth, low end tight end 1 for me as well. Moving on to the Bengals. Joe Burrow, obviously, arguably has the best wide receiver core in the league, at least one of. Is he top 5 for you for week 1?
I have him at number 9.
I have him at 10.
So there is a few guys that I like with a little bit more of a better matchup. Although Pittsburgh isn't really too scary, but
Week 1 divisional matchups are giving me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
they are bugs.
Like, the Steelers are going to come out swinging in Week 1. They're not going to just lay down and let Burrow drop bombs on them this game.
Right.
They're going to be ready to play too. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for Joe, but I still think he's obviously QB1 and you're starting him this week. Just some guys with more favorable matchups out there.
I agree.
Joe Mixon, also coming off of his first top 5 finish. Where did you rank my boy for Week 1?
Definitely lower than you have him. I have him at 8.
Okay, we just swapped him and Najee. I have him at 7.
Okay.
So we're at the same spot. I'm not going irrational. It's Week 1. There's a lot of guys with really good matchups ahead of him. So makes sense. I think obviously Pittsburgh, like we mentioned, maybe not the best this year, but still going to be stingy, not going to be the easiest day at the office.
Nitty gritty.
Yeah. And there is a chance of rain in the forecast too. So definitely something to monitor there.
Definitely.
But how did you rank the wide receiver trio? We asked this every single week last year. Going to continue the trend this year. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd for Week 1.
Got Jamar at 5, locked in wide receiver 1. T. Higgins is a high-end wide receiver 2. I have at 14. Tyler Boyd, I got to scroll a little bit. No offense to Tyler Boyd at all. I have him at 47. So maybe that is a little bit disrespectful, but there's just so many mouths to feed.
Yeah. I'm with that. I have Jamar all the way up at 2. I am all in on Jamar this week. T. Higgins, I have at 17, a little bit lower, still rock solid wide receiver 2. And in the same boat as you, Tyler Boyd at 48. So
sorry, Tyler.
I think the first 2 obviously must start guys. Tyler Boyd, if you're desperate or in a deep league, like 3 flex league or something weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not worth the risk for Week 1. All right, let's pick this game. Steelers at the Bengals. Who you got?
I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, that is a pretty easy one. I think I am also taking the Bengals as well. Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers upset them, though.
I wouldn't be either, but still too risky to upset the reigning Super Bowl losers in Week 1.
Definitely.
All right, Eagles at the Lions. Matt already repping the Birds before Sunday. Jalen Hurts in the best situation of his young career. Is he a top 5 QB for Week 1 in this matchup?
I got that boy at number 2.
2.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought about doing that. Like, obviously, love Jalen Hurts, love the matchup. He destroyed Detroit last year. But I looked at number 3, that was Josh Allen, and I was like, am I really benching Josh Allen for Jalen Hurts? Like, I'd be a little bit scared doing it. But I kept Hurts at 4. I still think he's a rock solid top 5 starter.
Definitely.
Are you trusting any Eagles running back for Week 1?
Hell no. Same as the Bills backfield. Too many people there. You don't know who's going to get the touches. So,
yeah.
Find running back help elsewhere, please.
Yeah, big risk with Miles Sanders already coming in banged up. Seems like he should be able to get back to health for Week 1, but I don't know. A little bit bugs. Kenneth Gainwell, obviously super risky to start with Sanders playing. Just not worth. Not worth it. Hold on. Whack, not worth. Just hold on to those guys, see what they can do. For the Eagles pass catchers, how did you rank A.J. Brown compared to Smitty, a.k.a. Devonta Smith?
I got A.J. Brown at 11, low-end wide receiver 1 for me. Devonta Smith, 34. So, decent flex play for me this week.
Yeah, I put A.J. Brown a little bit higher at 10, put him inside the top 10 for me. And then I put Devonta Smith inside my top 30 at 29. So I rock solid middle of the pack flex play for me this week.
I respect it.
I just like this matchup. I know the Lions are coming off of Hard Knocks and they're going to be scrappy in this game, but I just think the Eagles' talent is going to overpower in this game. And I think a lot of the Eagles are going to eat. Goddard also a start for sure.
Yes, sir.
For the Lions, obviously, you're most likely not starting Jared Goff. If you are, I am sorry for your loss in Week 1. But is DeAndre Swift, we saw him pretty much be a top 5 running back through most of last season until he got hurt. Is he a top 10 play for week 1?
He is. I have him right inside at number 9.
Yep. I do as well. Same spot there. Tough to argue. Eagles' run defense was a little bit shaky last year, so I think Swift could find some daylight.
I mean, we did add a couple pieces, so I was taking it as like this isn't the best matchup for him, but he always has that receiving upside, and he always seems to get the ball in his hands and make a play with it.
Yeah, safe floor. And I'm getting flashbacks to week 1 last year, I think it was, with him and Jamal Williams being like 2 of the top 3 running backs in that week.
They were. It was crazy.
They went nuts. So you never know. T Gods in the chat said Jamal Williams anytime touchdown.
Whoa.
It's kind of juicy.
It is juicy.
I bet the odds are juicy on that. I don't hate it. He also said go Lions though. Come on, bud. What are you doing? And then we also got Kaylon in the chat said, what's up? What's going on, boss?
Kaylon?
All right. Back to the Lions. How about the pass catchers for this team? Who are you most confident in for week 1? Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, or DJ Chark?
It's tough.
It's tough between 2.
Yeah, between Amon-Ra and Hawk.
Yeah.
Chark, I'm not really worried about. Amon-Ra, I'm scared of. He's going to be on Slay Island. And the Eagles did upgrade at linebacker, so Hawk might not have a field day on us. But if I had to choose one, I feel like Slay on Amon-Ra could absolutely shut him down. So I would say Hawk might be the safest this week against the Birds.
I think I'm with that as well. I do think Hawk could find some yards over the middle against this defense. Weaker safety play. I wouldn't be shocked. I do like Hawk in this matchup, but out of all of them, I'm not 100% confident in any of them. I do think Amon-Ra is a solid flex. Hawk, a low end tight end 1. Chark, I wouldn't start him.
Leave him on the bench.
Leave him on the bench, see what he can do. T-God said Amon-Ra all day. So I respect that as well. But kind of like Hawk in this matchup.
Me too.
All right. Let's pick this one. Eagles at the Lions. Bias intended.
Go
Give me the
Birds,
Birds. Come on.
baby.
Can't go against the Birds in week 1. Gotta be 1-0.
En route to 17-0, baby.
Yes, sir. Or 16-1, as you predicted last week.
I did. That was wild.
Spicy takes. Didn't even have to show face. Just let the numbers talk for themselves.
Yep.
All right. 49ers at the Bears. George Kittle already dealing with an injury. Definitely something to keep an eye on. This man has had the worst injury luck throughout his career. But if he is healthy, you have to play him, right?
Yep. You're starting him. Start your studs.
Yeah. Lock him in. Is Trey Lance a confident start for week 1?
I have him at 11. I would be confident starting him only because the Chicago Bears defense is not good at all. I mean, Trey Lance has all the weapons around him to be successful. And if he can't get it done against the Bears, that's a bad sign for what's to come this season.
Yeah.
So, but I would definitely be 100% confident starting him this week.
Yeah, I'm starting him as well. I have him at 12, so I'm with him. I think he's going to have a pretty solid debut here for the season. Like you said, favorable matchup. I think he's worth rolling out there for week 1 if you don't have a better option. But for the Niners running back core, we've seen it be a carousel in the past. Seems like Eli Mitchell is still the number 1 here. So is he an RB2 this week for you?
Yes, he is. I have him at RB20.
Yeah.
As long as he gets the bulk of the carries, he will produce as an RB2 with even possibly like RB1 upside on this offense. Yeah,
I'm with that. I got him at 22. Definitely a low end RB2 for me this week. He should be just fine. Plug him in and roll him out there. Obviously, Deebo Samuel back with the Niners after all the offseason drama. How high did you rank him this week? And are you nervous at all if you had to start Brandon Ayuk?
Deebo, I have at 8. Love the matchup. He was great all last year. Let me see where I have.
I got Deebo at 7. Got Ayuk down at 40.
I got Ayuk at 39.
Yeah.
So There has been a lot of hype around IU this offseason, so let's see if it's all true or if they were just blowing smoke.
Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to week one, Ayuk, week 1 through 8, maybe last year, Ayuk,
It was
where he was
horrible.
in the doghouse. It was a rough start. Seems like that's in his past, but definitely some nerves about that. I'd rather wait at least 1 week to make sure he's good to go.
Definitely.
Got a quick chat here. Kalen said he went a little risky in his draft, went for Kamara and Hopkins, thinking long term. I think that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Hopkins for sure, but Kamara, you should be fine as long as he doesn't get screwed midway through the season.
Yeah, and with D Hop, as long as you have like a solid enough flex to get you a couple wins through those first 6 weeks, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it too much. For the Bears, can't trust Justin Fields for week 1.
Hell no.
Yeah, keep him on the pine if you've rostered him. If not, leave him in waivers until we see more. David Montgomery and Darnell Mooney, are they the only players worth starting for week 1 on this team? And are they must starts?
Must starts, no. Monty probably is the only must start. Mooney, I feel like if I had a better option, I might take that route. I don't know how much I trust Fields against this 49ers defense. In my opinion, they do have one of the better defensive units in the league, but Monty's going to get his work. We know that. Mooney scares me a little bit only because of the defensive matchup against his quarterback.
Yeah, I would agree with that also. I do have a league. Now I can't find it off the top of my head where I have to decide if I want to start Mooney or not in my flex.
Mooney or who else?
I need to find it. Where was this at?
You're in like 80 leagues,
I know.
just like geek.
Whatever. I'll come back to it later. I'll find it later. Don't know where it's at this point. All right. Forget it. I would agree with you though. Montgomery, you're probably starting Mooney a flex if you don't have better options. I think he's going to be a rock solid flex, but not necessarily must start. Cole Kmet, any value for week 1 or wait and see?
I have him at 12. I mean, if you waited a while to get a tight end and Cole Kmet's your best tight end option, you're definitely rolling him out there. But if you do have another option who might have a better matchup or more opportunity in week 1, I would go with that other option because same thing as with Darnell Mooney. I just don't know how much I trust these pass catchers against this defense.
Yeah, I'm with that for sure. It's definitely a risk to say the least to get him out there in week 1. I have him at 13, right outside the top 12 tight ends. If you have a better option, start him, but Kmet could make some noise in week 1.
Good.
All right, let's pick this one. 49ers, the Bears. We got Niners, too easy. Let's move on. All right, it should be a relatively quick one. Is a divisional matchup, which has had some wild games over the past few years. But Patriots at the Dolphins. We have mid Mac Jones and this offense. They're really tough to trust. Is there anyone on this offense you want to start for week 1? One of the running backs, maybe?
Maybe one of the running backs, maybe Hunter Henry could be a sneaky tight end play.
I agree with that also. I actually did sneak him into 11 in my tight end ranks.
Yeah, he's up
I
there.
think he
for me
could
as
find the end
well.
zone.
But other than that, if you want to start one of the running backs, honestly, you could start either or. One of them's going to boom. Just not sure which one, which might be the case for most of the season this year. But yeah, aside from that, the wide receivers, I'm not touching. Don't trust Mac Jones. But the RBs and Hunter Henry are definitely your best bet to get some fantasy points.
Yeah, I would keep the RBs on the bench if you could. If you have to start them, obviously start them. There is a little bit of upside here. But yeah, Hunter Henry might be the safest play on this offense. For the Dolphins, is Tua someone you would consider starting for week 1 or still kind of a little bit risky?
Definitely still risky.
Yeah,
I have him at 16.
I put him at 19.
Wow. Bill Belichick knows how to game plan. I'm sure he's not going to let Tua just sling the ball downfield to Waddle and Tyreek all game. So, yeah, Tua is someone I am avoiding in week 1.
Yeah. Avoid Tua for week 1. Maybe still worth a stash. He could have some upside, obviously, with this high-powered offense. Chase Edmonds should be the leader of this backfield, at least to start the season. Are you trusting him for week one?
Yeah, why not? What
Yeah.
do I have him at? I have him at 25, so I have him right as like a mid RB2, low end, high end flex. So I do like Chase Edmonds a lot this year. I said that on a previous podcast. So I mean, it's week one. They're playing the Patriots. That defense doesn't really scare me too much. So I'd roll him out there.
Yeah, same. Chase Edmonds, I'm in the same boat. Got him as an RB2 at 23 also. So I like him. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, fun duo to monitor this season. How did you rank them out of the gates for week one?
Out of the gates, I have Tyreek at 12. I have Jalen Waddle at 22.
Tyreek
So
13, Jalen Waddle 21. So a little bit
yeah,
closer than you, but pretty much the exact same spots.
yeah.
A little bit more
basically.
confident in Tyreek, a little bit less confident in Waddle, but both should have some volume in most weeks. Fun fact from T Gods in the chat: Tua undefeated versus the Patriots. Matt, how does that affect your pick 'em for this week? Who do you got?
I have the Dolphins.
I have the
I was going to
Dolphins
pick the
as well.
Dolphins regardless.
Yeah, me too. I had them already, but that just gives me a little bit more confidence boost. Give me the Fins. It is a divisional matchup. Anything can happen, but in Miami, week one, high-powered offense. I think I got to take the Dolphins. All right, let's keep it rolling. Browns at the Panthers. Browns at the Panthers. Jacoby Brissett getting the start at the helm here, for obvious reasons. How did this affect your ranking for Amari Cooper for week one?
Dropped them way down.
Yeah, I got him at 35, dude.
Yeah, I have him right at 35 as well.
Yeah, definitely a low end flex for me. Not the most confident in him. I'm hoping he can obviously do a little bit more damage, but it's going to be tough for him with Brissett at the helm.
Definitely.
Should get the volume though, so gotta love the volume. For the running back duo, Chubb, Hunt, obviously guys you're probably starting. Well, definitely Chubb, maybe Hunt. How close did you rank them for week one?
I have Chubb at 11. I have Kareem Hunt 34.
Sleep on my boy Kareem.
Definitely sleep because when I kept scrolling and I was like, where the hell did I put Kareem?
I got Chubb at 12. I might be sleep too with Kareem at 27. I think I could even push him up higher than that.
Yeah.
I mean, Panthers aren't necessarily going to scare you. You know, it's going to be both of these guys. I might even move Kareem closer to that low end RB2 territory.
Like 24, 25-ish.
Yeah, he's right in that range for me. But Chubb still seems like the number one guy to start this week.
Definitely.
For the Panthers, Baker revenge game. Can't start him though, right?
Nah.
Nah.
It's Baker.
It's Baker. T-Gods
we
knows
know what Baker's about.
If I said we could start Baker this week, I think T-Gods would have had a heart attack watching this. So got to make sure
he would have stopped the stream.
Yeah. The stream would have ended and we would have been down in the dumps. McCaffrey's first game in a while. Do you have him at number one?
I do not. I have him at 2 because there's a guy by the name of Jonathan Taylor going against the Houston Texans.
I'm in the exact same boat.
But Christian McCaffrey, I mean, I'm excited to watch him play again. I miss him so much.
Yeah. Long time waiting to see McCaffrey on the field again. Let's hope he can stay upright for the remainder of the season.
Praying for him.
Good game in week one for him. Let's hope. For the pass catchers for the Panthers, is DJ Moore the only trustworthy one for week one?
I feel like he might be the only trustworthy one for the whole season.
I would agree. It's going to be tough.
Where do I have DJ Moore?
I got him at 14, right outside that wide receiver 1 territory, more of a solid wide receiver 2 for me.
Yeah, I have him at 15, so right there with you.
Volume should be there. Baker's going to have to be slinging it against his former team. DJ Moore is going to be the number one target here.
He's going to be fed.
Yep. Browns at the Panthers. Who we got?
Panthers.
I am taking Carolina as well. A little bit of bias with the Owls, but also it's the Baker revenge game, and Jacoby Brissett does not instill confidence in me. So give me the Panthers. Colts at the Texans. This one should be relatively simple. Jonathan Taylor drafted at number 1 in most leagues, so we know he's locked in at number 1 this week. Is Matt Ryan a sneaky quarterback play this week in this favorable matchup?
Could be, but I have him all the way down at 18.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I do love me some Matt Ryan. I'm at 17, but still too risky for me to push him into my starting lineup, especially for
Very
week
risky.
1. Don't get cute for week 1. Michael Pittman, obviously a favorable matchup for him as well. How high did you rank him for week 1?
Got him in my top 10 at number 9.
All right, respectable. I got him in my top 5 at number 5.
Oh my God.
All in on Pittman in this matchup. Texans stink. Pittman's first game with Matt Ryan. I think he's going to make some magic happen. I'm excited.
He easily
to watch
sees north of 10 targets this game.
Yeah. Gotta love me some Michael Pittman in this game. I think he's going to have a huge year, and I think it starts right now in week 1.
Yep.
For the Texans last season, it was pretty much Brandon Cooks, and that was it.
That was it.
That could be the case for this season also. You're probably starting Cooks if you drafted him, but Dameon Pierce has got a lot of hype. Is he in your RB2 range for week 1, or is he a bit too risky still?
A bit too risky. I have him right in like the mid-tier flex range at 30. So I would like to – there was a lot of hype in the preseason. I want to see him do it in the regular season against first stringers the whole game. So we'll see how it goes. But he definitely will get a lot of the volume there, so that could bode well for him.
Yeah, the volume should be there, but after watching the Houston Texans run game the last couple seasons, got some PTSD. Can't trust it. Give me a couple weeks before I'm all the way back in on Dameon Pierce. I need to see it before I can believe it in the regular season.
I agree.
All right, pick this one. Pretty simple. Give me the Colts.
Easy
peasy, lemon squeezy. Didn't have to think twice. Saints at the Falcons. Boom or bust. Jameis Winston is back at the helm for the Saints. Is he a sneaky start for week 1 himself?
Flip a coin, heads or tails, you could start him. There's a possibility he goes absolutely bonkers. There is a possibility that he completely folds.
Yep.
But that's Jameis Winston for you in a nutshell. But this definitely is one of his more favorable matchups. So it's hard to believe that there is a quarterback on your roster along with Jameis that you're more comfortable starting Jameis over.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I have Jameis at 15. Most 12-team leagues, you should probably have a QB that's better than Jameis Winston. So I would say don't start Winston, but if you are feeling spicy or trying to predict a big game for Jameis, which is tough to do, maybe roll him out there, but too risky for my blood in week 1. Alvin Kamara, obviously locked in as the RB1 here, as long as he is on the field this year. But how did you rank the wide receivers for the New Orleans Saints? Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, and obviously Michael Thomas back on the field for the first time in a long time.
Michael Thomas, I have at 26, right around like wide receiver 2. Let me see Olave and Jarv. Olave, I have a 44. I think Jarv is last in line at 53.
The disrespect to my guy. Repping his jersey, and you're going to say that to my face.
I have to. I got to keep it real.
Michael Thomas, 26. I'm with you on that. Jarvis Landry at 44. Chris Olave at 51. Just give me the guy with more experience as a wide receiver 4. Who are we kidding? You're still not starting Jarv or Olave this week. Right. I would love to see Jarv continue to bounce back and put up some numbers. He seems to have a pretty good connection with Winston, but wait and see. Don't start him for week 1. Moving on to the Falcons, Mariota, you could pass for week 1, obviously. Cordell Patterson, though, absolute wild card last year, played amazing. Are you confident in him for week 1?
Not really. I have him at 33. So like a low-end flex play for me this week. I just can't see him repeating that type of production he had last year.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I got him at 37. All year, I obviously expect to take over some work as the season rolls on, but I do think he is going to get a decent chunk of the work, especially early in the season here.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints are not the easiest matchup on the ground, so avoid Patterson if you can. Pass catchers for this team, Kyle Pitts. We know he's a must-start tight end. Got to lock him in. But what about Drake London? Is he worth a week 1 flex?
I had him at 42. So,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I got him at 42 also. Big
If you're
old
feeling
maybe.
spicy.
Yeah,
but-
he could see Lattimore in this matchup, who obviously has given fits to Mike Evans in the past. Maybe a bit inconsistent throughout his career, but still a tough matchup. I'd rather wait and see on the Rook as well.
Definitely.
Let's pick this one. Saints at the Falcons could be interesting, but
Could
I am
be.
taking the Saints.
I am as well.
Yeah, got to take the Saints in this one. Too easy.
Thirsty.
Thirsty man. All right. Before we continue here, today's sponsor is Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy football, and you can get started now with their Best Ball Mania contest, $10 million in prize money. I think there's 1 day left to join. If there are any spots left, there were few left yesterday. So if you do want to play, make sure you get on that ASAP. And when you sign up, make sure you use our code SUPERFB for a 100% deposit match of up to $100. So even if you only deposit $10, you will still get another $10 for free, $20 to play with. Again, our promo code is SUPERFB, SUPERFB, and you can play on the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS and Android, or you can sign up online at underdogfantasy.com. Give it a shot, even if you don't like it. Got 1 day until the season starts, some extra drafts to get done. Little 3-man league, 6-man leagues, whatever you're feeling, they got it in there. It's worth
Got
a
everything.
shot. They also have contests for Thursday Night Football too, so check those out.
I had to check that out.
Yeah, those are pretty cool too. All right, Ravens at the Jets. Should be a quick one here. Lamar Jackson still has not had his contract figured out just yet, but it seems like he still may play. Is he top 3 this week in this matchup?
Yes, he is. I have him at number 3.
Number 3, Matt?
Yeah.
Too low on my guy.
Wow.
I got him at number 1.
Number 1.
Lamar Jackson, number 1 this week. It's the Jets. It's Lamar. He's going to run all over this crappy football team if he plays. Give me him all day in this matchup.
Regardless, he's top 3.
Regardless, he's a lock for top 3. I'm with that. J.K. Dobbins still looking. If you don't tell him I said that, he will tweet at me angrily. Just kidding. I really hope he is able to play, though. Something to monitor. If he does miss this game, is Mike Davis worthy of a plug-and-play start?
No.
Even in this juicy matchup, I still wouldn't want to start Mike Davis. Like we saw Mike Davis last year. It's just not worth it.
Not worth it.
The quads are ridiculous, but the skills, maybe not so much.
Not there.
Yeah. Pass on Mike Davis. For the pass catchers for this team, we know Mark Andrews is a lock, especially against the Jets. Throw him out there, please. But what about Rashad Bateman? Is he a solid play for this week?
Yes, he is. I have him at 25, so like low end wide receiver 2 for me this week. Very good matchup for him.
Yeah, I have him at 23. So same thing, low end wide receiver 2. Plug him in, play him, trust him. I'm with Bateman this week. We will see what he's made of against the Jets. For the Jets, are you trusting anyone for week 1? Elijah Moore, Breece Hall?
Maybe. I feel like where people took Breece in drafts, they kind of might be forced to start him this week. Yeah. Elijah Moore, I'm sure you could find receiver help elsewhere for week 1. But honestly, I am not trusting any Jets for the most part of this whole year. But, I mean, if Breece ends up making a case for himself and takes over the bulk of that backfield, which still has Tevin Coleman and Michael Carter, so it might be a 3-headed monster all year. But as of right now, I am avoiding this Jets team as a whole.
Yeah, you have to avoid them. If you obviously are stuck starting Breece, you can. But there was some reports saying he's going to be second on the depth chart now behind Michael Carter. So just something to monitor. I think he's still going to get some work in this game, so he might still find some points, maybe fall into the end zone, but definitely a risk for week 1. All right, let's pick this one. Ravens at the Jets. Give me the Ravens. It's week 1. Pick the guys that are most likely going to win. All right, Jaguars at the Commanders. Trevor Lawrence enters year 2, but he's got to be too risky for week 1, right?
You're right. I completely agree.
I do like him. Like, I do think this could be a sneaky good game for him to bounce back onto the scene. I did put him at 18 right behind Matt Ryan, but I don't like him enough to put him anywhere near my starting lineup.
Correct.
Maybe like an underdog fantasy thing, but
yeah,
not worth
like a weekly type John.
Yeah, not worth in a season-long week 1 matchup.
Again, you have somebody else on your roster who you drafted ahead of him that you're going to start over.
Yeah. Travis Etienne will be the lead back, obviously, but James Robinson appears to be good to go. Also, are you starting Etienne week 1 and wait and see on Robinson?
Yeah, I am. I feel like they're even though Robinson's like good to go coming off a torn Achilles, he's still going to need time to rehab that. They're not just going to throw him into his like the workload that he was getting last season before they had Travis Etienne active. So I think it will be the ETN show for at least the first couple weeks until J Rob gets his feet back under him. And this is a matchup where I am very confident in Travis Etienne to put up a decent amount of fantasy points for you.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement there. ETN as a solid RB2 at 18. James Robinson, leave him on your bench. Got him at 41. So not worth the start. Any Jags pass catcher worth a week 1 look? Maybe Christian Kirk, maybe veteran Marvin Jones, or leave him on the bench?
I know I have Christian Kirk the highest. I
put
have him
Kirk
at 36, though.
I pumped him up to 33. He's in that flex range for me. There's a lot of guys in that territory that are all kind of in that boomer bust-ish tier.
Right.
And being the number 1 on this team in a game that's probably going to be relatively competitive, I think he's worth rolling out there, but obviously some risk there as well. This still is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So can't trust him.
I just want to see Trevor Lawrence take that next step, and I'll be confident in Christian Kirk every week.
Yeah, I will as well. For the Commanders, could Carson Wentz's debut produce sneaky fantasy points against his old head coach?
No, because Doug's going to know how to game plan against him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Wentz is still Wentz. He still knows how to make many mistakes in football games. So definitely risky, but yeah, don't start him. I'm not even going to give it a but. Not worth it.
No buts.
It seems like Antonio Gibson, though, fell back into that RB1 role for obvious reasons. Again, where did you rank him and JD McKissick, a.k.a. Scrumptious Man?
I have Gibby at 16. Juicy matchup. He's going to get the bulk of the work. He's lucky that this role fell back into his lap because it could have been going just like that, the way things were looking. And JD McKissick, I have at 41.
Sleep on my man's JD. I got him at 35. Really not that much higher. Probably a low-end flex at best still, but I do have Gibson at 17. If Gibson does fumble, this could be the JD show.
Yeah.
But as long as Gibson is holding on to that rock, he should have this backfield on lock for the next few weeks at minimum.
Gibson's liable to fumble, though.
He definitely is. Keep an eye on that man's arms when the ball is in his hands, because that thing could pop out at any second. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. Dotson's got to be too risky for week 1, most likely. So Terry McLaurin, you're probably starting him if you drafted him. How high did you put him against the Jags?
I actually have him at a pretty good spot. I have him at 18.
Yeah. We're on the same spot. Solid wide receiver 2 for week 1. Obviously a bit of a roller coaster last season for Terry, hoping that Wentz gives him a little bit more stability and starts in week 1. All right, let's pick this one. Could be pretty juicy. Who do you got?
I'm going with the upset. Let's go Jags.
Me too. We're on the same page. Go. Give me the Jags as well. Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson's game plan for him.
Yep.
Give me the Jags. I'm with that all day. All right, a few more games to get through here, so let's keep it moving. Packers at the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers has historically played pretty well against the Vikings in his career. Is he top 10 even with no weapons?
No, I have him at 13.
Sleep on my boy A-Rod.
I could be. I don't know. The things he was saying about his receivers during the preseason and training camp, it's like, which ones does he really have a rapport with? We've seen Allen Lazard get his chance at being the number one for a little bit, didn't really do much. So I just don't know if the talent level of his pass catchers is going to match his elite talent level. And that could be a recipe for disaster for A-Rod.
Yeah, I'm thinking his talent level elevates these guys onto another level. Maybe not elite tier, but just good enough so that Aaron Rodgers can still put up some solid numbers. I got him right inside my top 10 at 9.
Respect it.
Still think he's worth a shot out there, especially in a divisional matchup where he's going to have to throw a ton against this high-powered Vikings offense. So
yeah,
I think there is some upside to be had with A-Rod. The backfield, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, both highly coveted players in drafts this season. Are they both startable this week?
Yeah, I'd feel comfortable starting either or.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones more of the RB1 role. Dillon more of like maybe a high-end flex for me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Low-end RB2 at best for Dillon. Low-end RB1 for Aaron Jones. Pass catching upside is going to be through the roof. So roll them both out there. Are you confident in any Green Bay pass catcher for week 1? I know we just discussed it a bit. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think obviously Lazard has the best chance because we've seen it before, but I don't believe it all the way through. I got him at 39. I'd rather wait and see if anyone emerges.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you have to. Just too risky. Moving on to the Vikings. Are you starting Kirk Cousins in week 1? I wish Q was here because he would be like, yes, you're starting Kirk Cousins in week 1. But I am probably leaving him on the bench as well. Better as a backup still for me.
I agree. I have him at 15.
Yeah, I got him at 16. Could have a very good game against Green Bay. They are home, but still, there's just better guys out there. We've seen Kirk Cousins have very consistent stretches, but every once in a while, he'll put up a couple games in a row where they're just duds. So,
God awful.
Hoping that does not happen in this one, but I'd rather leave him on the bench just in case. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, we know they are both locked in starters. Adam Thielen, though, also back to full health. Is he a top 20 play, top 25? Where you got him?
I have him at 30 right now.
Wow, Matt. You typed up Adam Thielen all offseason. I'm going to rank him 8 spots higher than you are at 22.
At 22. I got to look over my receiver rankings. I feel like I might have rushed him a bit.
Hey, it's okay. I do like Adam Thielen. Like I said, he is getting a little bit older. He may have lost a step, but from what we've seen when he was healthy last year, he did put up numbers when he was on the field. Divisional matchup.
Monster.
Historically, he's had some pretty big games against Green Bay also, so could be a big week for Thielen. I got him as a low-end wide receiver too.
Like it.
Of course you do. You love some Thielen.
Do love some Thielen.
All right, let's pick this one. Should be juicy. Who you got?
Going back-to-back upsets. Give me the Vikings.
We're on the same page again. I have the Vikings also. I do like Aaron Rodgers, but I think this one's going to be too tough for him to gut this one out.
Like it.
All right, let's pick up the pace. A few more games. Giants at the Titans. Saquon is back and ready to roll. Got to start him in week 1, of course.
Lock him in.
Any other Giant worth a look?
Hell to the fuck no.
Yeah, no. Wait and see on that whole wide receiver core, especially the mannequin man. You can throw him on waivers at this point. You just cannot trust Kenny Golladay. For the Titans at home, Derrick Henry back from injury. Did he crack your top 5 again?
Of course he did.
Yep.
I have him at 3.
I got him at 5. Gotta love him though. Gotta roll him out there. Derrick Henry, you're starting in.
Juicy matchup too. He could run all over this defense.
Agreed on that. Robert Woods and Treylon Burks should be good to go for week 1. Are you trusting either in your lineup?
Nope.
Nah.
Don't trust Tanny.
Yeah, I'm kind of wait and see for both. Woods is starting to creep back up on me. I'm It's remembering Robert Woods'
How
good
good
old
he
days.
was,
He is
man.
a great wide receiver. So if he is fully healthy, I do think he has some value. Burks obviously has some upside as well. But for week one, I think they're both best left on the bench, even in this juicy matchup.
Mhm. It's crazy how like a whole year away from football can make you forget how good somebody actually was.
I know. It's wild. All right, let's pick this one. Giants, Titans, pretty simple. Give me Tennessee.
Titans.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you knew that one for sure. Raiders at the Chargers, perhaps the game of the week. Divisional matchup in the best division in football. Always fun to watch. Starting with the Raiders, Derek Carr. We know he is going to be a bit better this year, we hope, with a new wide receiver one. Did he crack your
Should
top
be.
12?
Negative. I have him at 14.
Yeah, I got him at 13. I think he's going to have to be forced to throw in this matchup, but I still want to see Derek Carr enter that better QB play rather than trust him right away.
Yeah. And I like this Chargers defense too. So
Yeah. JC Jackson out obviously hurts a bit,
a
but
little bit.
still a lot of pieces out there that are going to put up some good defensive effort against this team. Josh Jacobs, we saw him as an RB1 last year. Again, somehow I have him closer to RB2 for this matchup.
Yeah, me too. I have him at 22, actually.
Yeah, 21 for me. So we're in the same boat. Low end RB2, not fully confident right yet.
And like you said, the Raiders are going to have to throw a lot in this game to keep up with the Chargers.
Yep, definitely. With them throwing a lot, we know Devontae Adams is locked in. Darren Waller is a bit banged up, I believe, coming in. Are you confident in him or Renfro for this matchup?
If they're both playing, you're starting both of them.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Renfro, maybe you might have a better option at flex. I think he's in that like mid flex tier. But Waller, I think you got to continue rolling him out there. Chargers. Do we even have to talk about this team? We know they're going to be good. Justin Herbert, you got to start him. I have him at 2 this week. You got him at 1.
Yes,
That's what I thought.
sir.
Makes sense. Both got him as a top 2 play. You got to start Herbo. Austin Eckler as well in this matchup. Got to start him. I think we both have him probably as top 5 play also.
Yep.
I got him at 3.
Exactly where I have him at. Ooh, that's wide receiver. Running back. I have him at 5.
Respect it. We just flip-flopped him and Henry, both obviously going to be good. And Keenan Allen, Mike Williams should be fun to see where we continue ranking them. I know at one point last year we saw Mike Williams surpass Keenan in our rankings for a bit.
Crazy.
And then obviously fell back down to earth for week 1. I think I still have Keenan over Mike Williams.
Yep. 7 spots ahead of him. I have Keenan 10, Mike Will 17.
Keenan 11, Mike Will 19. So basically the same thing. Keenan, low end wide receiver 1, Mike Will, wide receiver 2.
Sir.
Let's pick this one. Raiders at the Chargers. Who we got?
Chargers, baby.
Go Chargers. Go. Give me the Chargers as well. Yeah. Give me the Chargers all day. All right. Chiefs at the Cardinals. Mahomes. Obviously, we've seen him be arguably the best quarterback in football over the past few years, but it seems like maybe he's fallen from grace a bit in the fantasy world. Where did you rank him for week 1?
I have him at 5.
Yeah,
Still
I have
top
him
5
at
for me.
6. So right outside the top 5. Maybe not the unanimous number 1, 2, or 3 like he was maybe a couple seasons ago. Obviously, losing Tyreek Hill hurts also, but you're still starting Patrick Mahomes.
This is going to be a shootout too, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it has the highest over-under of all of the games this week, so definitely should be a good game. For the running backs, is it worth starting Clyde week 1 or just avoid this backfield?
Avoid it.
Yeah, avoid this thing for sure. Not worth the risk. Kelsey, he's Travis Kelsey. Start him. The wide receiver core, Mahomes came out today and said there's not going to be a wide receiver 1, so don't get mad at him. Seems he's going to spread the ball around a lot. I think that's BS. I still think Juju's going to be the favorite target here. Sky Moore as well could be interesting, but Juju's got the clear-cut path to be that wide receiver 1. I think he's the only wide receiver I'd start on this team for week 1.
I agree.
Yeah, got him at 27 in that flex territory. For the Cardinals, Kyler Murray coming back. hoping to stay healthy for the entire season this year. Where do you have him for week 1?
I have him at 7.
I have him at 5, snuck him in my top 5
Of
in a
course you
shootout.
did.
Kyler's going to be throwing the ball. He's going to be slinging it. He's going to be doing it all. Give me Kyler in week 1. Running back, James Conner, probably starting him if you have him.
Mhm.
Solid RB2 again for week 1, Matt.
Yep. I got him at 15.
I got him at 15 also. Lock him in. Too easy. And the wide receivers, obviously, like we mentioned, this could be a shootout. Zach Ertz still dealing with an injury, so keep an eye on him. But for the wide receivers, where did you rank Hollywood, and is he the only one you would start?
Have Hollywood at 18. Don't think any other pass catcher cracked my top 40. So, yeah, Hollywood by far the only one I'm trusting in week 1.
Yeah, I got Hollywood at 16. Rondale Moore also a little bit banged up coming in. I'm at 47. Rather wait and see on him too. That's it for the Cardinals. So let's pick this one. Chiefs, Cardinals, who you got?
This one is the hardest pick I had to make all week, but I'm going Chiefs.
Give me Arizona, baby.
I knew it. I knew it.
Bias intended. I'm excited for the Cardinals. They're home, and I think they have a good shot at upsetting the Chiefs in week 1.
They do.
Bucks at the Cowboys should be a pretty high scoring game as well. For the Bucks, do we really have to discuss this team either? You're starting Tom Brady, obviously. Leonard Fournette, start, but reports are a little bit scary, a little bit shaky. But you got to roll him out there. He was so good last year. As long as he's on the field for at least 70% of the snaps, he's going to be just fine.
He lost a couple pounds.
Yeah, hopefully that as well. But I think he did, so he should be fine. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage / Julio. Who do you like there? How did you rank those guys?
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are honestly the only ones worth noting for me this week. I have Mike Evans at 6, and I have Godwin at 19.
Yeah, I got Mike Evans at 8. I did these rankings before Godwin's confirmed like full practices, so I put him at 31, just out of a little bit of fear that maybe he's on a limited snap count. But if he's good to go, I would put him around that same area, probably 20, 21 in that low end wide receiver 2 range for sure. Just still nervous coming off such a major injury. That's all.
He'll be all right.
He should be just fine. The Cowboys, it's the Dak show. We know that. But is Dak worth a start in week 1?
No.
Yeah. I'm at 11. If you have to start him, you can start him. But Bucks is not the most favorable matchup, so you may have a better quarterback than Dak in a 12-team league for sure. Running backs, Zeke, Pollard, Bucks running backs. Bucks run defense was pretty stingy last year. Definitely something to be aware of. But are you confident starting Zeke or Pollard this week?
If I have Zeke, I'm starting him. Again, temper expectations on him. Pollard, I'd rather hold off. Zeke's going to get the bulk of the work. He's going to be their bell cow. I would just like to see how they incorporate Pollard, if it's like similar how they did it last year.
Yeah, I'm with that as well. Definitely agree there. For the pass catchers, CeeDee Lamb locked in as a wide receiver 1. Dalton Schultz, did he crack your top 5?
I believe he may have.
I have him at 5.
Yeah, me too. I have him at 5.
Yeah. The volume's going to be there for him also. I think he's going to be the second guy in this offense, especially with Gallup probably not playing in this one. So definitely something to monitor, but Schultz and CD, you should be confident in. All right, let's pick this one. Bucks at the Cowboys. Who you got?
Go Bucks.
Yeah, give me the Bucks in that one too. I think the Bucks are going to be too good. Sunday Night Football will be just fine.
Prime time.
All right. Last game, Monday Night Football, Broncos at the Seahawks. Russell Wilson revenge game. Got some juicy drama coming out in the media. I think it was today. So definitely there's some pent up rage. Russell Wilson, got to start him in week 1.
Have to.
Yeah. If you got Russell Wilson, I got him at 7, right behind Mahomes.
I think him at 6.
I think he's definitely worth the start.
Yeah, I'm at 6. Right ahead of Kyler. Suck it.
Yeah, whatever. Tell it to the judge. They're all in the same range. For me,
they are.
Javonte Williams, you drafted him to be probably your RB1, if not your RB2. Got to lock him in as well as the top 10 play.
Don't believe I have him in the top 10.
How could you?
I know. Trust me, it hurt my heart. I have him at 13.
Wow. I got him at 10. Juicy matchup against this awful Seahawks team. So I think he will be just fine. Pass catchers, Sutton and Judy. How did you break up those two? And definitely higher on Sutton. Yeah, that's for sure.
Sutton, I have a 13, right around like a low end wide receiver 1. Jerry Judy, 31. Decent flex play for me this week.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Huge split for me also. Sutton at 12, Judy at 36.
Okay.
I really need Judy to prove to me that like he's the real deal before I start believing it. Sutton on the outside is just too juicy. Russell Wilson's got to feed him in week 1 for sure. Moving on to the Seahawks. I don't really want to. What do we do with this team? DK, is he worth the start?
Him. Yeah.
I think you got to start him. He's probably still a high-end flex. Him and Gino were pretty solid last year together. So worth a shot. You're obviously not starting Gino. Are the running backs worth a shot? Rashad Penny with Ken Walker maybe not playing?
It's probably your best bet. I like Rashad as a flex this week.
Yeah,
only because of the volume he's going to get. But once Ken Walker gets healthy, I think it's going to be more of a split backfield.
I am with that as well. I got Penny at 25 this week. So if you have him, maybe this is the week to start him because it might not be the full season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's it for those two teams. Let's pick them. Broncos at the Seahawks. Who you got?
Broncos country.
Let's ride. Yeah, give me the Broncos. Too easy. All right. That's all 16 games. Flew through it in an hour. Definitely gotta work on our pacing a bit for the next couple episodes. But great episode nonetheless. Working with the duo here. Hopefully Q and T Gods will be back next week. Next Monday, we will be doing our week 1 recap after watching week 1 of the NFL, going to be elite. And the next Wednesday, obviously, we'll be back with our week 2 preview. So that will be the schedule moving forward. Make sure you tune in weekly. Fortunately, no trivia as well. Q is obviously not here. So no trivia. We will hold off the questions, maybe do a little bit more on Monday. But make sure you're following us here on Twitch. If you are watching, throw us a sub on YouTube as well. We're on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you get your podcast. Our podcasts are there. Also, real quick, if you do have lineup questions, we are heading into week 1. Drop them in our Discord. I believe it's in the chat if you wanted to join. But also you can drop them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever. We are on all platforms. Just look up Super Fantasy Bros. You will find us. All right. See you guys next week.
Enjoy week 1, baby.
Enjoy week 1. Peace.